Hi guys, this is the advisor and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share a piece of information with you that has extremely far-reaching and devastating implications for every single Jamaican. The more aware among you might have heard something about it, but not enough. Now, this is where I'm going to delve extremely deeply into this matter and set the record straight. And it is no joke when I say that this have extremely grave implications for the future of the country and for every single Jamaican that lives here. There is something that is keeping. Somebody made a mistake about 20 odd years ago. Well, I wouldn't call it a mistake because it was deliberate efforts. And this has kept Jamaica from becoming developed as it ought to have developed. And it has some serious implications for this country going forward. It has made our life as difficult as is humanly possible. I'm making you become aware of it, and hopefully we can stop it. And I'm going to tell you my political leanings right now. My political leanings is towards Jamaica. Anything that is good for Jamaica, I will support it. Full stop. I have tunnel vision. Anything that is good for Jamaica, I will support it. I don't care whether you wear a green shirt or an orange shirt, a blue, pink, purple. I just want to know that what you're coming with is good for Jamaica. And anything is bad for Jamaica, I will fight it. I don't care what color shirt you wear either. In my comment section all the while, I've been called laborite and I've been called comrade. Well, suit yourself with the information I'm about to give. Oh, by the way guys, before I go any further, have you noticed that I have changed my intro? The current intro is much shorter and it contains none of those flashing lights. In other words, guys, you see that I listen to you guys when you talk. I hope you'll give me some thumbs up for this because you see, I read all of my comments, and I answer, because guys, you mean a lot to me. Your view, your visits are important to me, and I feel if you leave a comment, it is my duty to read every single one and comment or at least leave a like or something. So please continue to tell me what you think. Anyway, now let's get into the topic deeply. Guys, on the 1st of August 2024, that's Emancipation Day, there was a new president and chief executive officer for the Jamaica Public Service. And as we all know, JPS is the single and only provider of electricity in Jamaica. Now, we don't know this man Hugh Grant who took over, but let me tell you something about him. There have been, before he even came into office, there had been several meetings between this gentleman and the leader of the opposition, Mark Golding. Now, on the face of it, this may seem quite innocent. I mean, people can talk to people. But let's connect some dots. Let's go back to March 30th, 2001. On that day, Phillip Paulwell, who was then had the responsibility for that portfolio to do with electricity. I don't remember what that portfolio is called now. I think it's STEM, no? Science, technology, and what the EM stand for, I don't remember. But on that day, he signed off, or rather he signed over Jamaica's rights to some foreigners from Italy to provide electricity for Jamaica. Now, this was at a time when they were selling off cement company, flour mill, Air Jamaica, and selling our slot at Heathrow in London. Now, there were a lot of ironclad clauses in that document, that legal document that was signed between the JPS and that foreign company at the time. For example, they were guaranteed a certain amount of money. They were given the right to pad the bill, everybody's bill, as much as possible to reach X amount. And if they still could not meet that amount of money, the government itself would have to go in the national kitty and pay them the money as excess. And they were guaranteed every so often, I think it's every 2 years, if I remember right, to hike or to get a price rise or a raise in rates for electricity. Now, what this did is that it sent electricity sky high. It caused the Jamaican manufacturing sector to be unable to produce cheaper goods because the electricity overhead became so high, so much higher than when it was before the foreigners took over. And this particular agreement, this binding legal agreement, was from 2001 when it was signed until 2027. So this have to be enforced. Everything that is to be enforced in this contract goes up until the 8th of July 2027. Because of the contract that was signed, Jamaican people have been held to ransom. And it has pauperized a whole lot of people who tried to live uptown or to live in certain areas. Right now, as it has been said that 71% of the people on St. John's Road in Spanish Town are stealing electricity. And I think about this, if you go in certain ghetto areas, maybe virtually 100% of people are stealing electricity. This never started until this country sold out and people just were in no position further to pay electricity. And they couldn't pay for it because the more they tried to pay is the more that JPS paid them bill, because under the contract that Phillip Paulwell signed, they were able to do that. In other words, Phillip Paulwell threw us to the wolves. Now, let's go back. Let's fast forward now to Beryl that passed a few weeks ago. Hurricane Beryl. When the storm was imminent and was said to be heading straight for Jamaica, because of the contract that Phillip Paulwell signed, the Jamaican government had to automatically give the JPS 50 million US dollars. 50 million United States dollars. And this was from a special pre-compensatory contingency plan, the government disaster management contingency fund that Jamaica had set up specifically because of that clause in the contract that Phillip Paulwell had signed. Even after getting that money, what did JPS do? They went to the Minister of Finance, Nigel Clark, and said, listen, JPS told the minister that, listen, the company that supplies us with LNG to run our generators is a company called New Fortress Energy. And New Fortress Energy has closed down because of the impending storm. So they wouldn't be able to supply us with any electricity, with any fuel. So now, as an contingency, we are going to have to use diesel to run the generators for the next few days. So we need to get some kind of because the diesel is a bit more expensive than the liquefied natural gas. The JPS asks the Minister of Finance for a discount. Now, the cost of a litre of diesel fuel is roughly $180. Roughly $180. Roughly. Some places maybe 190, but it's just under 200 Jamaican dollars per litre. Nigel Clark, the finance minister, was extremely generous. So he said, listen, me going to give you any amount of tons of diesel that you need at only 4 Jamaican dollars per litre. 4 Jamaican dollars. Imagine, it's nearly $200 a litre, you know, and you get it for $4 per litre. So this was an extremely generous concession. In other words, we are giving you free diesel for run your thing. But here is what gonna happen now. After the storm gone, Beryl Vaz eventually found that found out from New Fortress Energy that JPS did not really need the diesel fluid that it got for free, because they had 5 clear days worth of fuel already in storage that could have been used. And when they say 5 clear days, it didn't count the day when them check it. So depends on how you look at it. We could say 6 days. In other words, they have nearly a full week of liquefied natural gas to run the system and did not even need the free gas where them get from the Minister of Finance. But this parasite foreign company named JPS was still not satisfied. The JPS said they're running at a loss and are padding every Jamaican bill by 32%. Yes, padding everybody bill just add 32% just for the F of it and just say, boy, hold this. In other words, Phillip Paulwell had sold Jamaica down the river. Now, for a moment, let us get back to that man called Hugh Grant I was telling you about earlier. About a week ago, he went down to St. Elizabeth. And I want you to look at this Gleaner clipping and listen to what he said.
No, we're going beyond just wires and poles. We will be a part of helping our customers to recover from the impact of Hurricane Beryl. One thing that we're doing is we will be giving $50 million towards the electricity bills of approximately 10,000 customers here in St. Elizabeth who are still out. Each of these customers will receive $5,000 towards their bill, and this will be reflected as a credit on their bills.
Now, guys, this is a slate of hand, because what he's going to do out of that 32% where him take on, him I go just push it around and say, listen, still let me give you pen paper, but you're not going to get it. You're still going to get an even higher bill. And this applies to people who did not even have electricity for several days. And even today, as we speak, there are still people in St. Elizabeth who need electricity. So when I'm talking about give you $5,000 per person down there, give 5,000 people, what we got? When you think about giving that, you're not getting $1, because them only show you where it go on the bill and show you where it take off. And you still end up with zero. Not end up with zero. They're still digging at your skin same way. Now, you might wonder, why JPS are go so hard? Why them are go so hard? I'll tell you why. Their contract ends in 2027. And it is quite unlikely that they're going to get this contract back. And even if them get it back, they're not getting back on anything near these terms. Because remember, Phillip Paulwell did sell we out. Why do you think he's the 3rd richest man in Jamaica? Probably the 2nd richest man. Probably I don't think Peter Bunting and Mark Golding money can reach for him. So here is the intrigue, and this is the interesting part. Mark Golding had not only had meetings with Hugh Grant, which is the new CEO and president, he also had meeting, he and Phillip Paulwell have had meeting with the chairman, I think it's an Italian man named Damian Obligio. So Damian Obligio, he is the one who parachuted the new CEO and president, Hugh Grant, from the United States into Jamaica and just fling him in at that position. And he was flung there for a reason. Now, guys, connect the dots. Now, in 2027, new contracts are going to be signed. And if the JLP remains in power, those contracts will be signed to protect the Jamaican people. Because right now, the JPS have the entire government hands tied behind them back. They're shackled because the contract that was signed by Phillip Paulwell is so tight that there is nothing the Jamaican government can do without being sued and begin to look like pariahs across the planet. And the JLP doesn't seem to have any intention to let that remain in place. Therefore, Phillip Paulwell also wants him big cut off of the new contract where I got signed. Hugh Grant was put there to F up the thing. Yeah? To make life more difficult for Jamaicans. To send up electricity bill as high as it's possible. And to blame the government for it. Turn the people against the JLP. See if them can use it to make sure that the PNP gets into power. Now, if the PNP gets back to power next year, what do you think is going to happen? This company is going to stay there. These people running the JPS is going to stay there. And all that they have done to keep the Jamaican people shackled and poor are going to remain. And all of them people are going to get them cut. So the purpose of Hugh Grant is as an agent provocateur. His job is to come in and discombobulate the system and see if he can make it look like, say, at the labor right, them are do it. Imagine, the thing is, Jamaica is them cash cow. Because no matter, because of the way the contract was signed, JPS, the owners of JPS cannot lose. They cannot lose. They will suck out the blood out of this nation, and the contract is there to prove it. They cannot lose. Nobody want to talk about the OUR. Me just a rubber stamp. I remember at the same PNP put them in and to just hoodwink the people as if they were doing something, as if them can't stop anything. But JPS already have a minimum where them have to get. If it's say well 3% every 2 years, for example, I'm just saying, I don't remember what the number is. All this JPS have to do is ask for 6%. Knowing said them are going to get the guaranteed 3%, which they were fine with anyway. And then all you have to do is to debate and say, no, you can't get the 6. And then they come down to 3, which they had actually wanted to begin with and was guaranteed in the first place. And then when them get that now, Jamaican people go, hooray, the OUR protecting us.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Not so it's all smokes and mirrors. Smokes and mirrors, sleight of hand. It is in the interest of the PNP and the JPS and specifically Phillip Paulwell to have JPS remain where they are. It is also in the interest of these foreign people who own JPS to make sure that the PNP gets into power. So it's a mutual benefit for them both. As I say, may I take up for Jamaica. Anybody want to take this political? Go check the facts. In fact, I hear that at the meeting that Damian Obligio the chairman of the JPS, he had been told by the hierarchy in the PNP to use his position. He and Hugh Grant should use their position to, quote, increase the misery index. Now, what is the misery index? The misery index is a system that they use to measure how unhappy the people in any specific country is. And the misery index for every country fluctuates year by year, and you have some countries which are normally more miserable than others. And when people are experiencing a certain amount of misery, they change governments. So, what we see happening currently with the JPS, however we take it, JPS now go lose. Here is why. If them have to cut and run in a 2027, them a make sure pad themselves and line themselves and stock out as much out of Jamaica as they possibly can take with them, so that them have enough money to last them and them family for several generations to come. So whatever the case, they leave Jamaica smiling. But of course, we know them don't want to leave. They must fight tooth and nails to stay. And if increasing the misery index in Jamaica can help them to remain here, they will do that. Guys, if I say anything in this video that is wrong, please correct me. Please correct me. Give me your facts. Bring your evidence. I will put it out in another video and apologize if I said anything wrong about anybody. So, as I said now, thanks for popping by. Like, share, leave a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.